Embrace some positivity. Chilling for you. Approaching it deductively. Money and power and moment with cozy. Food for your mind, food for your body and soul. Money and power and moment with cozy.
Welcome, 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 everybody, to Empowering Moments with Coach T. And I am your host, Toria Renee, aka Coach T. And I am coming to you live right here on IntellectualRadio.com. And I have an awesome, awesome, awesome show for you guys today. So I'm not going to belong the time with my intros. Y'all know who I am by now. If you don't look me up, I am the Coach T. I am on Instagram and Facebook. All right. So really, really quickly, I am also an Amazon bestseller of Networkology, Women Doing Business, One Women Doing Business. Lord, I don't know what my thing is. Women building wealth, one business at a time. My goodness, that's a whole mouthful to say, y'all. But if you are interested, this is an anthology of 11 women. We talk about how you can network and build your business at the same time. So definitely hit me up if you want this book. I can send it to you. And we can do that. All right. So that's my last little shameless plug. All right. So we're going to get started with the show because today I'm talking about the topic of the power couple illusion. And this is a term that kind of irks my nerve a little bit because I'm trying to figure out what we think a power couple really is, right? So today we are going to unpack that term. And we have two awesome guests in the building. First, the vets of Intellectual Radio, Miss Wanda B.
Hey, thank you for having me. You know, I love relationship topics. That's what I do. I just love them. So I like how you worded that. When I saw power couple illusion, I was like, why is she calling it an illusion? I want to find out. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We also have Andre Adams in the building.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I'm a financial advisor, as you know, and I do work with Toria on many different things. And saw the topic, obviously, power couple illusion, and it's something that is needs to be talked about. So I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Awesome. So I want to give Andre a quick little second to do his to do a short little commercial about what he does in the industry of insurance.
Absolutely. So I'm a financial advisor, and I work with New York Life, and I've been with them for about 3 years. And sort of the kind of the people that I work with, they range many different walks of life, from those that need certain bare necessities to those that are really seasoned and how they approach their finances. So what I do is walk people through where they are now and where they want to go. And there's many paths to get there, but I think it's an individual approach to everyone. So if you're in a situation where you are looking to get somewhere and you don't know how to get there, that doesn't have to be a product. Maybe you just need advice, or you need someone to show you a different path. That's sort of what I do, and not all of it encompasses money and encompasses you having to put down a down payment. Maybe sometimes the decisions that you make will be critical in choosing a path that's going to get you to where you want to go. So that's what I do.
Awesome. And tell the people where they can get in touch with you.
Absolutely. So my number directly is 312-838-0701, or you can go to newyorklife.com/AdamsA. And that is my website. So, and again, I'm pretty sure Toria is going to post that, but you can call me directly. And if that advice is needed, I will take the time to do that with you.
Thank you so much. And I am going to be posting that after this show closes. I'll post it in the comments, all the information for you guys to be able to contact Andre with your insurance needs. All right, let's get into it. All right. So the first thing is, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the phrase power couple?
For me, the first time I usually go to like who I think are, or who I've heard are power couples, the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's. Who else would be a Barack Obama and Michelle Obama? So I go to more celebrities locally. Like, I don't know if they don't come to mind first off. It's usually some celebrity.
Okay. Is it the same for you, Andre?
Yeah, I think I thought that at first, and I did look at the Obamas like she did. But I think the more I thought about it, I started to think more locally, like the people that we have that are that are next to us, that the janitors and the school teachers. What actually makes that power couple? So I think that needs to be defined a little bit more. And I think once we get into that, we'll see what types of people fit in those categories.
Oh, I like how you worded that.
I
That is
just-
so cool.
Yes, that is so
Because
true.
honestly, they're probably more powerful because they actually impact us more locally. Barack and Michelle have done nothing for me personally.
Exactly.
I love them, no.
Right.
But why don't we think about the people who really impacted our neighborhoods and our lives as being power couples? I like that.
I think it's definitely we typically think of the celebrities of the world, and so I want to give us a standard definition of a power couple. This is the biggest one that really encompasses what people think. It is a couple entailing two people who are each authoritative or going strong in their own right. So when we think of people that are embody that, we really think of we don't think of the common and local person. We just think of the celebrities because they're the ones in the forefront. So I'm going to start with the top 4 illusions of a power couple, right? I got
like
it, y'all.
that.
Come on. So the top 4 illusions of the power couple. So I'm going to start off with Jay-Z and Beyonce because everybody knows Jay-Z and Beyonce. And my God, when they got together, the world was like, woo, they finna take it by storm, right? So both of them were established in their careers when they first got together, right? She blew up a little bit more, but she was doing her thing, right? So they took each other to the next level, though, because he leveled up as well in this thing. So they became a force and an icon in the music world. They create the illusion that money creates power.
Ooh.
Okay. Being rich is a prerequisite to being a part of a power couple. So let's unpack that. Can you be powerful, influential, or authoritative without being rich?
Absolutely.
No doubt, you can.
But I don't think most people would think that.
They
Right
don't
off.
consider themselves that way. They don't see
Or
themselves
others.
that way, or others. So we discount those who embody this definition. We discount them because they're not on TV. So does money equal success?
To some people, it may. I think to some people that is success to them. But I think the trouble that we get into, if we were to just take a small step back, it speaks to what we're looking for in a partner. So if you're in that single realm, and you want to be a power couple and you want to have a person powerful next to you, what are you looking for? And so if you're looking for a person that has money or looking for a person that's rich, you've wiped out a certain portion of the population. If you're looking for a person that has certain things, and we can name the categories, you are going to be in a very small pool of people that you can choose. And so if we're not looking to build with that person, or if they have to come ready made, it makes a big difference in how those people go from being single to even being a couple. Because they don't choose based off of what they want in the future. They choose about what people have right now.
That is so key. And for the longest of time, that has been one of the things that one of my confidants has always told me. He says, you always choose the guy for right now. And you choose him for all the qualities that you like right now. But you don't choose anybody for the long run. You don't choose anybody for the long haul, meaning by the time you get into this relationship and you 7 months in, a year in, 2 years in, you realize that they don't have some of the qualifications and the characteristics that you need to be able to build and partner with. But they were fun just to hang out with. So I think we probably need to understand the difference when we are dating. I was listening to Jeremy Holloway, and I don't know if you guys follow him, but one of the things that he always says is that we date. He's not dating just to pass time. You shouldn't be dating just to have companionship in the moment. You should be dating for future marriage and building, because that's what marriage is all about. So you should be dating for that. And if you're not dating for that, then you're playing around and you're wasting time, because but that signals to me as the person without purpose or a person without clarity. Because if you had the purpose and the clarity, you would know that you don't have time to waste like that. It's like me today. I don't have time to waste like that. I don't need companionship that bad that I gotta just choose the person for the interim, right? I have to be. I'm cool. I can treat myself. I date me. I ain't my best companionship. I like me in my four walls. I'll do all right, right? But if you're not secure with yourself, then you'll choose the right now person because you have to feel the space.
I see that. Makes sense.
Yep.
So I want to look at the other couple. Let's move on to topic 2, the second power illusion. Barack and Michelle Obama both met at a time in their lives when they were both they had their future set. Okay, so they had a trajectory that they were on. They weren't there yet, but they were on the trajectory for where they wanted to be in life, right? And together they pushed each other into those positions and became world leaders, right? And their work continues to have impact on people in the world because they've always shown us a close-knit whole operation.
A unit, yeah.
They showed us a unit, exactly. So, but can it send the message that only 2 highly educated people are required to make a power couple? So you have to be this because they're both highly educated, ridiculously so, right? But do we have to be that highly educated to be able to grasp the concept?
I don't think you have to be highly educated to grasp the concept, but one thing that I do see with them is one being able to not relinquish, but if they had a goal, they could teeter between getting to the goal for both of them. Didn't mean they both had to be at this equal rising. That I could be as educated as you, but use that education to elevate
You.
To elevate the other person. And I do believe that concept is kind of what's maybe missing, is that it's not how much education you have, is are you willing to use your gift to empower each other?
That is key right there. That is so key. And the reason I'm gonna get you, but the reason that is so key is because one of the things that I talk to guys about, and they always say, I'm not impressed because a woman has a couple of different degrees. And so what? I'm good with that, whether he got them or not. That's not what he's looking for. And it's not, and we get upset. Oh, what so now you're discounting the fact that I have these degrees. No, I'm not discounting the fact that you have them. I'm telling you that what I need from you is not based and predicated so much on the fact that you have a degree. And that's the part that we as women can sometimes be missing. Andre.
Yeah, so that's a good example with Barack and Michelle, because I always like to go like a step back and look before Barack became Barack. He was a community organizer. He had no money. He wasn't doing. He was
grassroots.
He was
Yes.
grassroots, and she believed in him prior to him becoming powerful. And I think that loyalty that he showed towards her that we see comes from the fact that she believed in him when he wasn't that way. And so as we look at women, looking at men today, we want the ready-made person, or men we want somebody ready-made. But if I'm powerful already, why do I need another powerful person in my life? Right. And so I'm used to people wanting to be around me because I have power at that point, if I've gotten there by myself. But when you believe in someone, when they have nothing and they now become something, the loyalty that you show them for that specific time translate on the back end when they become powerful, because now that they have made it to this point that you push them to educationally, they have this commitment to you for believing in them when they weren't that way. So that connection that they have that came from behind the scenes, nobody sees that. Or they only see the outward product of what they're putting together at that point in time. But the grassroots of that relationship to build into the power is something that no one's willing to do, because we want the ready-made products.
I like that you said that a relationship has its grassroots. That is so powerful, because And all I hear is maturity, because you got to be some level of mature to even get into that space.
I agree. You
right?
have to feel comfortable and mature in yourself, because if you feel insecure, it's very hard for some people to feel. Being around someone very educated can make them, it could filter their insecurities. You have to be very secure and mature in yourself to be around sometimes people to not let them, or you control how you feel, but people will feel insecure around people that they feel are better than them.
You know what? I feel like that's true, because I noticed that, because I feel like this happens to me all the time, but I feel like this happens to a lot of women all the time. And they say, oh, he's intimidated by me, because they know they carry weight. And I'm not talking about negative weight. I mean, they have a presence, and then they, when they walk in the room, there's a presence that they bring with them. Okay. And so their weight, right? Which means they're a little bit of pressure too in a relationship.
But
they're
sometimes
pressure.
they're not the secure one either, though.
I agree. I agree with you.
Doesn't necessarily mean they can have the weight,
I agree,
but not have the security with the weight.
Ooh. Now that right there, say more. That right there, because
so I think that allows them to sometimes feel other people are not secure with who they are, because honestly, are you really secure with yourself?
That's you throwing weight, though. That's you throwing your weight, because people who are really secure in the weight that they carry, they don't have to throw it. You know why? Because people that throw weight want to make sure you see the weight.
Right.
But that's because they're insecure about whether or not they really got the weight. But the people that are clear about that fact that they got the weight, they don't have to throw it. They don't have to push it. They ain't got to pedal it. You know it, because they know you know it. You know why? Because they already know what they bring to the table. We always talk about this proverbial table, and they attract it and they draw it. Absolutely.
And I agree with everything you guys said, but I mean, I can only look at this from a Black male perspective. I can only do that. And I do know in our culture, and I know you guys don't want to hear it, but we are
How
not.
You know that?
Well, okay. I'm assuming.
So we don't want to hear it. I absolutely love to hear a Black male's perspective, because I can't think like you guys, and everyone isn't as willing to share how they really feel about topics. So I welcome to hear what you have to say.
Thank you.
I think there are males like me, and I'm not saying all of us, we don't know how to accept certain things because we did not grow up with them. And so when you have a strong Black woman, right, on the other side, or you have a strong woman on the other side, receiving some of that admonishment, some of that push, some of what you guys bring, in many cases, it's the first time we're seeing it. It's very few times that we've seen it. And so how do you accept something like that? Right?
That you've never experienced. You don't even know how to accept
because you've never seen it before. And it seems like this person is out for what I have, or this person they mean me harm, or this person will get this and they'll leave, or they're doing this for another purpose. We're just cautious and skeptical. If we had a structure in our community that allowed this to happen from the time we were children until now, when we see it, it's like, okay, that's real. But we cannot tell what's real and what's not real. So that when you try to put things in us, it seems like there's a purpose that they're being put in us. And we don't want to be manipulated. We don't want to waste time. We don't want to be on a path and then have to get off. We see divorces, people cheating. We see people that are not faithful to their families. And we don't want to be in that position. It's like, well, I might as well get there myself, and then I'll bring somebody at that time, versus building with somebody, because you never know what their purpose is along this path. So if we can get this early in the teenage years and the child years, it won't be as foreign to us, and we shouldn't even be having this conversation right now, because we should already know this.
We should already know. I agree, and I'm gonna unpack that a little bit more, because I had a guy once tell me, and I thought it was the most oddest thing. He said to me, I feel like if I continue to date you, you'll be trying to push me to do things that I don't want to do, or you'll be trying to change my goals for my life, or you'll be trying to give me goals that don't connect with me. And I thought that was the dumbest. It made no sense to me. But now hearing you say that, I understand exactly what he was really trying to say to me. What he was saying to me is, I'm at this point in my life. I'm comfortable here, and I don't know how your push is going to impact me because I already know the type of woman that you are. You're going to want to impart and push because you build. I don't know what I picked. I ain't figured that out until just now. That's what he was really saying to me. You're going to want to build, and I don't know if I want to build the way you want to build, and I don't want to have to be out on opposition with you.
So what would you say to that? Like how?
Well,
honestly, from a man's perspective,
in that situation, if he doesn't want to be built into your image. He doesn't want the image that you want for him. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So in his mind, if you notice something in him that he has that he doesn't notice, let's build that. So I'm not trying to build the image that I have of you. I notice that you have this in you, and I think it can be done on a much more efficient scale. You can continue to be that way, but what if you added certain things along to what you already want? How would that picture look to you? And so, again, when you look at men, we're very methodical. We know what we want, and we're going to go and get it. Everything that we have right now, we want. So it's not something that we're just randomly choosing. So if he has that, he definitely wants that. He just doesn't see the other side that you see. And instead of you telling him that you're not trying to build him into something that you want him to be, you're saying, I know what you told me about what you want. How does this picture look like this for you? And
Absolutely.
If he chooses that, that's his desire, and he's going to make it happen. He just never saw the other side, mm-hmm. which you as a woman can bring, but in a very gentle.
So our language,
it's the language, it's the way we say it. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes ignites or triggers the responses, because we also haven't seen or relationships where we watch a woman speak to a man in a way that brings the best out of him.
Yes.
We've never seen it. So it's like we too now are winging it with how we talk to our girlfriend or how we imagine you're supposed to talk to somebody, to a man, to get what you desire from him. And we too haven't seen it.
I agree. That's one of the things that I actually like about Michelle and Barack, because I remember one clip, they were doing an interview and he said something and she challenged him in that moment to think of it differently or to see a different perspective. And the whole world blew up on her like she had committed a cardinal sin against her husband. And I was just like, you missed that, because he wasn't upset. Y'all were upset because, see, he's used to her challenging him to push him better. That's why he is who he is today. Because he's accepted that. He leans into the iron. That they already got that on lock. You upset about it because you don't like the way it looked, because you're a guy and you don't have a woman that's able to do it in the way that you can accept it. So now you look at them like, oh, she shouldn't have did that to him and she disrespected him. No. They have a whole relationship, and this is what it's built on. Iron sharpens iron, and he understands that.
I want to say something really quickly. The most powerful man in the world is the president of the United States. Right? Around the president of the United States, there are all these advisors who are experts at what they do. So in a powerful relationship like the American government, the United States government, you have power players that know how to play their roles. So when you move that back on a much more individual scale, in this relationship, power couples, you have roles that are being played by both parties. Now, neither are expert in all things, but you put them together, you have a very formidable force that can come together to get anything done.
Come on.
And so it doesn't have to be two complete parties connecting to make something powerful. It can be two average people that come together to make something perfect. And that's what we need to look at when we're choosing these people, not a direct absolute package, but somebody who has the desire to connect, to make something better.
Awesome. I love it. So that brings me to my next point. And I want to take a look at an unconventional couple because they were not married. But I want to look at Nipsey Hussle and Lauren London. So they weren't married. However, they were regarded as an example of successful Black love in the hip hop world. So on the hip hop side of the world, they thought they were the bomb. They were showing us how to get it done. They were the example of what commitment and love looked like between Black people on the hip hop side of the world. Now, not that it was to everybody else, because I didn't see it. I didn't know who Nipsey was until he died. But I'm just saying, in their world, they looked at them that way. So here's the next question. Do you have to be married just to be a power couple? Does it require marriage to do it? Can you be a powerful couple together without ever having a license to do it?
I think so. I mean, businesses have business partners that become great businesses. For marriage, to be a power couple, we're talking about gifts and talents that they each possess that have nothing to do with having the biblical unity behind it. Now, can it enforce and make them a better, powerful couple? Of course. And if they ever, God forbid, came to dividing, then that being married has a unfortunate purpose, because it has a defined how you divvy things up. But as far as, I think you both can possess all the gifts and talents that it takes that a married couple would have, and not have that the governmental thing to it, I think. But I'm willing to hear what you guys say. I'm open that couldn't be, but I do believe so. I just don't see why. If businesses have business partners that run effectively, they've never married and they run their, and I'm not saying marriage is necessarily a business. I know that can be a contention with some people, but I do believe that if Barack and Michelle were not married, the one thing is the commitment to the relationship. And that's where it would have a problem. If you two can stay committed, that no matter what, we're in this together, and we don't physically have the actual tying thing that keeps us together, but we can say we're in this together to the end, and I want to see you rise as well as you want to see me, and we're together and we're going to make this happen. I believe that people can have commitment without marriage. But
Andre?
My only question to that would be why?
Why wouldn't you do it?
I want to.
That makes sense.
I would want to know if you are powerful and you are a couple, you're successful. So you have all of the outliers to being a power couple that has an ending, right? This is the final for us. This is what we're going to do from now and going forward. My question is, what for that couple, what keeps you from making that as an official?
Fear.
Yeah, because let me tell you something.
That's my answer.
I agree with you 100%, because I think that there are a lot of, especially on, and this is going to sound sexist, but I'm not trying to be, but I feel like men have more of an apprehension to the word marriage because it ties them. This is the way I interpret it when I talk to them. It's all about money. So, and I agree in some ways that the judicial system is not necessarily fair to them in divorce. Okay, because basically you sign on, you have this wonderful loving relationship, you give all you got, you're taking care of all the bills like being a provider like the man is supposed to be, da 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 da. Then you get divorced, and all of a sudden they tell you, oh, well, you done let her stay at home and she ain't never had to work a day in her life. Now all of a sudden you got to pay her alimony and you got to keep her in the lifestyle that she been used to. And you be like, excuse me, wait a minute, huh?
But in 2022, that's actually a fallacy. I mean, you usually hear men saying that who haven't been divorced. They've never been married. So, and they're
that's
really
their fear, though. That's their fear.
It is their fear.
That is their fear.
It is their fear. But it actually now women, because they do make as much, they're taking half of your stuff too.
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
so
but
you're
that's not
splitting,
what,
but
right.
but it is their fear.
They're afraid.
And I do believe you brought up a good point. It's also their fear because they have very few role models that it's seen be successful
in marriage
on a local, on their level. on their own level, how many have they seen be
Successful
successful at it? So
Mhm.
where do they get the role models that this can be done? They have a lot of role models of divorce and unhappiness, and they're always the more vocal. The happy ones, they're not even talking to you about
Come
it.
on.
They somewhere being
Come on.
happy.
Thank you.
And they don't see it as much.
But one thing that women may not want to hear is the fact that maybe that man don't think that that's the right woman. And
Absolutely.
Been saying that for the longest.
So basically, if you're not there, right, you're not that person for him. So, and this is just my personal example, right? I met my wife and I knew that she was the one, right?
Y'all always do.
And those types of women, you think I need to get her off the market. Right.
Mhm.
Because if you wait around with somebody like this, they're going to be gone. It's only a matter of time. And so it's almost like going to the store and catching a sale. You see that sale, something that you want, you automatically purchase it. If you're not being bought off the racks, then they do not want you. They want what you can bring. They want what they can get from you. But if you're not bought and taken out of the store and off the racks, then they don't really care if anybody else buys you, as long as I can use you for what I need you for.
Would you come up? Would you come on and
they
speak?
will, because I mean,
Because you let them.
But I would love to know your view on this then. So for the woman who gives the ultimatum that you know what, you take me off the shelves, or buy me off this rack, or I'm going to a different store and be sold at Nordstrom's instead of Macy's.
Okay.
Is that something you would suggest women should do?
But I don't think women want to be in that position, right? Because if you give a man an ultimatum, right, you're saying to that man that I really want this and I really want you to want this. And so you're forcing them to want this. And so if you're forcing them to want this, even if they do it with the ultimatum, you're still not going to feel fulfilled because you had to give them an ultimatum. Women don't want to walk away, and men know that. If we know that you don't want to walk away, the moment the ultimatum comes, I at least got a good 6 months to a year of playtime. Because you give me an ultimatum and I can kind of string you along for at least that long. Women, when they walk away and make a decision to leave a person alone and give that man time to think and go and see what else is there.
Come on.
Then if they come back, then they're yours.
Yes.
Because they've went through those motions. If you keep them around and think that you're going to do something to have them stay, you're just giving them an extension, giving us an extension.
To string you along.
To string. And honestly, I'd like to know the statistics on how many ultimatums were actually taken versus how many were given.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you something. I want to know the statistics on how many ultimatums that were taken, they actually stayed together. That's what I want to know. I want to know that statistic, okay? Because these men, sometimes men are out here saying yes to this thing because you want it, because they want to hold on to you.
They don't want you back on the market.
They don't want you back on the market, but they don't really want to buy you. They just don't want you to go back on the market. They don't want you to know you're free to go back on the market. That's what it is. So, right, let's go on and buy you so you can stay here and I can stay comfortable. But then but I still treat you like I kind of was shopping around still. Exactly, because I don't really still have your heart to the fullest at this point because you ain't trying to give it. I've always been a firm believer that if he don't ask you to marry him, he don't want to marry you.
And I think they know it pretty early on. Is that true or not?
Absolutely.
Yes. Men always say they know this.
But again, that's why you choose. I mean, again, I'm not saying that all men are choosing all women because they want to marry them. If they're spending any amount of quality time with you, then that means that they enjoy something outside of the bedroom with you that they can enjoy themselves with, or they're doing it because it's a requirement in order to get into the bedroom. But when you get into these, like, I don't understand the 3, 4, 5-year relationships where we're just like doing the same thing that we were doing in the beginning and nothing has been brought up about the future. And you said nothing, he said nothing, and you guys are comfortable in that space. Because if there is a real commitment, right, I want to secure my future. And it's sort of like locking in an interest rate today. You don't want to lock in an interest rate. You just get something floating. You don't know if it's going to be 5% next year, 1%.
15, 29.
So the secure thing to do is to lock in the rate today.
Lock in the rate, right.
And unless I think I can get a better rate in the future.
Come on. See? And okay, now, help me, because I need to make sure, and I'm gonna move on in a minute, but I got to know if a woman is saying to you, because I heard a man tell me that men don't shop for better while they with somebody. And I said, I think that's all types of lies and fallacies, because I think men definitely shop for what's better. They get with one and then, let me see if the grass is greener on the other side. So they're constantly shopping to see if they can date up in
I
some
believe
sort,
that.
in some way.
I
Now, that's just what
100%
we
believe that
women
happens.
believe. But I had a man tell me that that's
I feel
not
I
true.
know that
So I
happens.
need you to help me out. Do men do this?
The ones that haven't secured. I'm sorry. Let him
Go.
answer. No. I want to hear your answer. I'm sorry.
Date up? I mean, I don't think that's a man thing. I mean, we don't date up. I think
date better, meaning you find
Finding
a woman
the one
that's
you really
better.
want to lock down, because I really don't want this.
I don't really want this one.
I'm around it. I'm with them for now, but I'm kind of keeping my eyes open that the one I really feel I want to lock down could be there.
Yes.
When you define that date, if he's doing something outside of what he's currently in, what he's in isn't dating. So he is literally shopping. So if you're saying dating,
so he
up,
don't
or
see it.
he does not see.
That's why.
Say that again.
So
wait,
if you're talking about dating and him going outside of this current relationship to be in another relationship to say that this is better than this, what he's in, he doesn't see as a date. It is something that
he's still
doing.
shopping.
So he's not calling that a dating relationship.
He's not even calling that a date.
You're calling it
relationship.
In his heart, he's not calling it a dating relationship. He may be saying it out his mouth that this is a dating relationship, but in his heart, he is not categorizing that as a dating relationship, because he's still shopping. Thank you.
But if you look at like the way we grow up, women young girls are playing with dolls. They have these houses, they're cooking food. They're doing all of this preparatory stuff prior to even getting in a relationship.
We already ready.
So you got the terms right, you have the household right, what you're gonna do, what your child's names are gonna be, where you want to live. You have all of that stuff planned. We don't have that stuff planned.
Because y'all don't care about it.
We don't think about that stuff. And so the terms that you guys are attaching to stuff, we've never heard before. And so if you need me to say this term in order for me to get this result, then it's this term.
He was like, you want to call it dating? We're dating.
We're dating, yeah.
We're dating.
But then if you say I'm dating up by looking for better, then that's your term. In our world,
you was never dating
I like to be with this girl.
I like being with you. It's not no term too.
I like being with this girl as well.
So
I like being with her. I like being with different women. We'll look at it that way, and we won't say we're dating here, but this one is better and that one's better than her. It's just that hey, each of them have their own qualities. And on Friday nights, I like to be with that one. On Sunday mornings, I like to be with this one. That one knows how to cook. This one goes on vacations, and we'll classify it in those different boxes where you saying, "Well, I thought we were dating." No, we were just watching movies.
Oh, see, I like this. This is learning, because it's the same thing as. It kind of makes me think about, we got a new movement, Black Men Don't Cheat. Of course, Black men don't cheat because they was never in a relationship in the first place.
Right.
So it goes back to that. But I want to move to this next to my fourth topic, because I want to make sure I get it in. I want to look at Maurice and Kimberly Scott. I don't know if anybody watches Love and Marriage Huntsville, but Maurice is a real estate mogul in Alabama, and Kimberly is an RN, but she's also a real estate agent. They're doing the thing, right? However, Kimberly functions as predominantly the homemaker and caregiver for their children that they share, and Maurice functions as the head of the household and the primary provider, and he is always trying to lay down some laws, okay? But she plays her part, right? And I feel like they operate as a business. And this has been the big fallacy, because people don't like for you to say that marriage is a business or being in partnership and relationship is a business. And I'm telling you that I believe 100% that there is a portion of marriage and committed relationships that operate as business, because if they didn't, y'all wouldn't make it. Because you're going to need something else other than I love yous and the little frills. All them old giggles and, the chills that you was getting when you first met them, you don't be getting that 10 years later, okay? That ain't what keep you in the game. It is your partnership, and partnership is a business. And so when you have people that have dual careers, it requires a balance it requires a balance. You have to bring balance to each other. So true power couples have learned how to dance this dance, even with their power level. And so I'm saying, do you think, or do you agree that marriage is in some ways, or committed relationships is in some ways, a business?
So my wife and I, every Sunday morning, we have family meetings. And in those family meetings, we run it like a business. How does the week look? How does the month look? How does the year look? What are our goals? How are we going to reach them? We share documents to get tasks accomplished. And in that moment, for that specific time, we are operating a business because we are a huge corporation. And we want to be a huge corporation. And in order to do that, if you look at the, Amazons, the Googles, these guys operate with structure. And if you don't operate with structure, how can you have a corporation? How can you progress your goals if you don't know what they are? And you don't know how close you are to them by taking steps. So if you do not have a business in a relationship, I don't care if you're committed, married or not, if you don't have a business structure, you're never going to attain the goals that you guys both want to have combined.
That is exactly how I feel. So when you look at all of these love stories and their journeys and the standard definitions of power couple as a core piece, it doesn't infer that it's actually bigger than money. It's bigger than education. It's bigger than careers, and it's bigger than the world's image of marriage, and it's bigger than the word marriage. Men and women are originally designed to have impact in the world, and as a result, their union has to have impact together. So when a more complete definition of a power couple would be a couple where each of the people are powerful and influential in their own right, and they encourage goodness in the world and make it a better place because they are together. That's really what we're boiling down to. Really quickly before we get to the end, I want to jump into a few of these characteristics. I'm just going to name them because we at the end of time here. So the true characteristics of a power couple is that they are team players. They celebrate each other and they celebrate each other, and they cheer each other's victories, right? And their winnings. There's no societal pressure for them that can bother them or change who they are, that shakes their foundation, because they got that thing on lock, right? They are adept at handling the tough times. They've been through some hills and some valleys, and they know how to make those work together for them and bring them closer and make them stronger rather than let it break them. The last thing is they are usually some type of relationship guru, in the sense that not that they're proclaiming that they are, because 9 times out of 10, real true power couple people ain't running around toting this title, we're a power couple. But because people see the bond and the commitment and the love and the way they operate and work together, people gravitate toward them, and they usually ask them for advice, and they usually are able to give it. That is a true power couple. So you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be super successful. You don't have to be extra spectacular. What you do have to be is mature enough to see that you two can come together for a common goal, and everything that you both have within you already is what you use to make this relationship great and have impact on the world. All right.
I like to say, just tying in a lot of the things I think we've talked about. I think we talked about education, and whether education can be your gifts and knowledge that don't necessarily always mean degrees, and bringing those gifts and talents to that relationship to grow and build. We talked about being a business, and I do think that the business qualities, the qualities that it takes to run a business, can be brought into a relationship to make them grow. I think people don't like the word business because it sounds cold, right, and doesn't sound like it involves love. But the love for your business, the love to have it grow, it's like being self-employed, and we're bringing our self-employed businesses together to grow. So if we take out that it has to be this impersonal thing, but this is a unit and a business that we grow, and you bring your own gifts and talents, because I'm definitely not the most organized, but if he is he's organized, I bring my talent that can grow his organization and grow, that you bring the gifts and talents that you possess and make it grow together. And then also talking about marriage, where like you brought up a point that I hadn't thought of, is there something lacking? If you can't add that level to your power, then that's maybe something you want to look at. Because why wouldn't you do one of the most powerful things that makes the commitment to the unit? And if that's so, then maybe that's something to look at.
Absolutely.
And I'm very grateful that I do see the power couple now from more of the local level, and how people maybe not look outwardly to be, but work on your own unit to have the power, to put the power in your unit. It doesn't have to be anything that's recognized on the Beyonce level or on the Barack, former President Barack. I keep feeling like I don't give him his respect, and Michelle level, but it is on your level. And I think we all can put in the work to bring the power to our own relationships.
Absolutely. Andre, closing thoughts.
Yeah, this is to anyone that's looking for one of the power relationships. A power relationship doesn't have to be two powers coming together to make a relationship. It can be two average people that actually come together to make something very powerful. So let's look at our expectations and who we're looking at to enter relationships with to get this type of power that we're looking for. And if we do that, the market sort of opens up for all of us, or all of the people that are looking for that type of thing, because you're not looking for people that come ready made. Sometimes you got to make it all from scratch. And if you have the mindset to do that, I think the dating world looks a little bit better, and not just looking for people that have everything that can put it with your everything, and now you have double everything.
I think I want to add a little bit to that, because I like that, because I want us to redefine the power, because me being power doesn't mean that I don't have to have a whole lot of education. I don't have to be super successful, and I don't have to have all of those things. I don't have to have the greatest career to have power.
That's right.
I can have power without all of that, because maybe I have wisdom. Maybe or whatever my gifts and talents are, give me whatever my power is.
That's right.
I got we all got a superpower, just so we make that clear. Everybody on the green earth got a superpower. You just have to know what that power is, and then you have to tap into it, and you have to bring the fullness of that to a relationship. So don't think that you can't have power because you're not rich, or you got power
and
already.
Be open to seeing the gifts in others that doesn't always revolve around dollar signs, the nice car, the nice house. Be willing to see
more.
The gifts and talents. And like you said, see the potential in the gifts and talents, and based on your gifts and talents.
Yes.
And I think that's what you were saying, that your world opens up when you see, okay, I see that he's running this, and he's doing this, and he has these. I mean, and it doesn't have to be things either. It can be drive, the hustle, the whatever you see, but be open to seeing the gifts and talents,
and see how you can fit in. See where you can make impact. Like, you know what? Hey, he got all this going on, man. If I add this to it, we're gonna be awesome, right? So see that and nurture that and purpose to do that. We are at the end of time. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been awesome to have this conversation. Thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you, Wanda, for jumping in.
Thank you. I want to throw in there the guys, stay tuned to Intellectual Radio today, because we have connections coming on at 12, and we have one sister to another coming on at 1:00 today.
Awesome. All right. So you guys got to keep on tuning in, keep on hitting that listen live button on IntellectualRadio.com, because we need you to come on in here and get this information. Thank you so much. It has been awesome. You got something else?
I want to know one more time how we reach you.
Yep. My number is 312-838-0701, NewYorkLife.com/AdamsA. And the very last thing I wanted to say is that thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, being on here with you ladies. And anytime you guys want me to come back, absolutely. This was very, very enlightening.
Awesome. All right, then. So we're going to wrap it up right here. This has been Empowering Moments with Coach T, and I am the Coach T. Remember to just be you. See you next time.